Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. I'm Nicola Barreto. Let's take a look at the headlines. Caribbean Airlines launches inaugural flight to London. A special fund established to look after the families of national security officers killed or injured in the line of duty. And 30 acres of land allocated to the construction of a main COSTAT campus. Thank you for joining us. To our top story, a dream come through. The sentiments of Caribbean Airlines Chairman Rabindra Moonan, who was speaking at the launch of CAL's inaugural flight to London, where he announced that the airline continues to provide the link as it opens the gateway for direct connections between the region, South America and Europe, and is now providing the bridge to London.
Caribbean Airlines, we have been able to achieve a dream which a lot of people felt could never have happened. Today, because of the hard work of our management, our board of directors, and more importantly, the encouragement given to us by our dear minister and the government of the People's Partnership, we have made this dream a reality once more.
A pivotal moment in Caribbean Airlines history as the airline launches its service to Gatwick. CAL's chairman Rabindra Moonan says the start of this new service comes at a crucial time when many of the region's professional athletes will be heading to the London Olympics.
It's the most opportune time I think we have chosen to go to London because we have the Olympics coming up and we have a strong Trinidad and Tobago team which we are assisting to go to London. We have a strong Caribbean team, so the airline of the Caribbean will be flying to London in the most opportune time.
He says the airline will be rolling out some exciting plans for the upcoming summer peak travel season.
Things are looking up for the airline and we have plans which we'll unveil in the coming weeks to see how we will take the summer peak, the increased travel we expect, both on the air bridge, Toronto, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando. But there are exciting times ahead, and whatever turbulence we may have gone through, I think that there are clearer skies ahead for all of us.
Trinidad and Tobago soca star Machel Montano also added that extra touch, performing a specially penned version of his hit single branded for the Caribbean Airlines London service. He is also commending Caribbean Airlines for great service throughout the years, while pledging support to the state-owned airline and applauding its many successes. The artist says he looks forward to many trips to London via Caribbean Airlines.
We have worked with Caribbean Airlines on all levels. You know, we are artists, we travel. Machel Montano HD is a huge band. So, you know, we now have a beautiful relationship with Caribbean Airlines in our tours and our business. They have sponsored many of my shows, especially some of my proudest moments like Madison Square Garden, selling out Madison Square Garden. Caribbean Airlines has always been our carrier. You know, we have waited for the return to London. This is the return, and I mean, this is really the birth of the London trip under the CAL brand. And I mean, Caribbean Airlines was says something. You know, it's a product of the Caribbean. You know, I'm a Trinidad and Tobago citizen, but I'm also a Caribbean national. I feel like a Caribbean man, and it's always a pleasure to fly with your home base, your home crew, and the warmth, the food, the energy. Caribbean Airlines to London is definitely for me.
I feel to fly. Caribbean Airlines is home to me. Everywhere I wanna be. Caribbean Airlines in the air. There's a sunshine deep within the Caribbean. And now we're #1 to fly you to and from London. Caribbean energy, real warmth like family. Put your hands up now, let me hear you say, yeah, feel to fly. Caribbean Airlines.
Veena Bharat, News 4.
Government has announced that a special fund will be established to look after the families of national security officers killed or injured in the line of duty. Announcing the plans, National Security Minister Brigadier John Sandy said the fund will start with $1 million.
A special fund that will seek to provide for families of national security officers killed or injured in the line of duty will soon be set up by government. National Security Minister Brigadier John Sandy said so far $1,076,000 from the Finance Ministry has been allocated for the fund.
What we are trying to do, or attempting to do, is to honor both fallen and serving military and public safety officers and provide tangible support for their respective families.
The minister also announced plans to commemorate these fallen officers annually on a special day titled National Security Officers Day.
We are in the process of declaring April 26th of each year as National Security Officers Day. And this is in commemoration of the 6 serving officers, 4 of the fire services and 2 of the Defense Force, who died at Omega in Chagaramas on the 26th of April 1988.
He assured it was the ministry's aim that the program and administration of the fund will be managed by a board of directors. Minister Sandy added a wall of honor and a hall of fame would be established where those serving and those who served would be recognized.
We have developed a motto, honored in duty, alive in memory. There will be as well a wall of honor established and a hall of fame in which these serving and those who served will be honored.
Minister Sandy says since 1937, a total of 95 officers, including those in the police service, prison service, defense force, customs and excise division, municipal police and supplemental police, have died while on duty. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
News 4 continues after the break. Stay with us.
Now, if you are in a flood-prone area, move your valuable items above expected floodwaters.
Construct flood barriers to prevent water from entering your home or building.
The next big problem that causes flooding is the dumping of garbage and appliances by the river. How much times we'll say to put the old stove and fridge by the river bank? Listen, it's going to create even more flooding.
Here are some other precautions you can take.
Turn off gas and electricity. Unplug all electrical appliances.
Put dangerous liquids like strong chemicals and flammable liquids in a safe place and close those containers tightly.
Place important documents, passport, deed, birth certificate, in waterproof containers or sealed plastic bags.
Common sense now. Park your vehicle in an area that will not flood.
Secure pets on higher ground.
Have an emergency plan for your family or business so you'll know what to do beforehand, where you will go, and how you will deal with a flooding situation.
That was some real good tips, Dee. But at the end of the day, flooding takes place. And if indeed you become a victim of flooding, here is the hookup. You need to contact your regional corporation or the ODPM at 800 ODPM.
Great, Jason. Remember, damages caused by flooding can be minimized. So let's plan and prepare.
In order to safeguard our family, our community, and our country.
A message from the Ministry of National Security, Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management.
Welcome back. Prosperity for all, the vision of the current administration, which, according to Planning and the Economy Minister, Senator Dr. The Honorable Botewari, is well on the way. This as Atlantic LNG CEO Nigel Darlow revealed plans of a new venture with the Inter-American Development Bank, the University of the West Indies, and the Point Fortin Borough Corporation in an attempt to promote economic growth and development.
The core of this project, the development of human capital and of new non-energy business entities, developed following consultations, as you've heard, between Atlantic and the IDB and key stakeholders. Upon completion, it is expected that this project will have a positive impact on the lives of 200 young men and women, at least, from the area, and approximately 100 or so small micro enterprises.
Planning and the Economy Minister announcing the good news at the launch of the Local Economic Development in Point Fortin. Also speaking at the event was Atlantic's CEO Nigel Darlow, who says the company will be investing some $7 million into the project.
We are absolutely delighted to announce that Atlantic is committing around $7 million TT dollars over the next 3 years to this program. This LED framework seeks to create an economic base of self-sufficiency and to develop and improve social conditions in the southwest region. We're proud to say this is the first LED framework to be implemented in the Caribbean, and we're pleased that the Inter-American Development Bank has recognized the potential of this partnership and the benefits which it can bring to this region of Trinidad and Tobago. Our expectation is now that over the next 3 years, everyone involved can continue to push ahead to ensure we meet the objectives of this program, and we have set ourselves 4 very clear objectives.
He is also expressing much confidence on what he describes as a promising future which seems visible for Trinidad and Tobago as it relates to its energy industry.
Today we launch an important partnership which formalises the way forward for the LED program, and I think it's a concrete expression of the commitment of all involved to the development of the southwest peninsula of Trinidad. At Atlantic, we like to think that we're about converting natural gas into human possibility. The outlook for global LNG, as I've been quoted as saying many times recently, remains very positive. There is growing demand globally for LNG, and with strong prices outside of the US markets, this together creates a very positive future for Atlantic and for Trinidad and Tobago. We believe that the Trinidad and Tobago energy industry is still very robust and very competitive. Certainly we plan to have our operations here for the next 20 years and beyond.
He adds that there is a need to provide long-term opportunities to young people and also to support and transfer knowledge to other regions.
To focus on at-risk young people who are currently underskilled and unable to access employment opportunities as a result. The framework seeks to identify long-term opportunities for empowering young people to play a more active role in local economic development. We will do this by increasing access to education and to skills-based training. And finally and fourthly, the program will facilitate and support the transfer of knowledge to other regions. In doing so, we hope that this model that we are outlining today for the Southwest will be established as best practice and a precedent for sustainable community development in other regions across our country.
Veena Bharat, News 4.
30 acres of land formerly owned by the now defunct Caroni 1975 Limited have been allocated to the construction of a main COSAT campus. The facility is expected to accommodate several thousand students, which government sees as a great development to the area. Tertiary Education Minister Senator the Honorable Fazal Karim and Chaguanas West MP the Honorable Jack Warner both spoke at the dedication of land ceremony at Pearlink Road in Charleville, Chaguanas.
Thousands of persons will be able to access tertiary level education at the soon-to-be-opened COSTAT Chaguanas Institution. Speaking at a ceremony for the dedication of lands for the construction of the main campus facility for the College of Science, Technology and Applied Arts of Trinidad and Tobago was Tertiary Education Minister Senator Fazal Karim. He says that the campus would become a hub of intellectual activities which are in sync with COSTAT's educational goals.
The campus will become a hub of intellectual activity, where in keeping with COSTAT's approach to education, as you would have heard the request from Minister Warner as well, that these programs must be aligned to our economic development strategy, where research projects will shed light on the many issues and challenges facing our communities, and that these research projects will not be simply for matriculation for graduation onwards, but that they will move towards creativity, innovation, and yes, commercialization.
COSTAT's chairman, Dr. Alan McKenzie, says the campus may open for its first intake of students as early as next January. He says there are big dreams for the new facility as it is aimed at eventually accommodating some 12,000 students.
Construction of the COSTAT's new state-of-the-art full-service campus in this location will commence in late 2013. The new campus will boast modern facilities for teaching, learning and research, and will host services such as banks and other businesses that will also serve the surrounding community. But as you know, this is a longer-term project. However, our commitment and determination to serve the citizens of the nation, as well as our mandate to increase access, means that we have put plans in place to bring tertiary education programs to your doorstep as soon as possible. In this regard, we will commence construction of an interim facility on this site in September of this year, and we will begin classes in January of 2013, if not before.
Also speaking at the event was Chaguanas West MP, the Honorable Jack Warner, who is highlighting the great impact education can have in all aspects of society. He is applauding the initiative to have an educational facility of such capacity in Chaguanas, saying it will provide individuals with invaluable resources needed to improve their standard of living.
Transforming communities, transforming the nation, one student at a time. I was touched by that message. Transforming lives, transforming communities, transforming the nation, one student at a time. If there is any one institution which can transform this nation, education is it. Education is the means by which we can get social mobility, by which we can get economic mobility, by which we can improve ourselves and broaden our vision. It is education that will help us to grow.
Minister Warner is also suggesting that cultural studies be introduced at the institution. Veena Bharath, News 4.
Wayne Cunningham has a sport report right after the break.
Informing and educating the nation, especially the young ones, about water, how it's won and processed, and how it should be protected are just a few of our major responsibilities here at the Public Education Center. The enjoyable learning environment, cultivating conservation habits, developing healthy relationships, and giving our public an appreciation of the environment in which we produce water. WASA's PEC, the region's only public education center on water.
Thank you for staying with us. Andrew Lewis missed out on qualifying for the 2008 Beijing Olympics by a mere 4 spots. Though dejected, the then 18-year-old did not give up, and as a result, Trinidad and Tobago will be represented in the sport of sailing at the London 2012 Olympics in the racing laser class. Wayne Cunningham has more on the sailors' journey to the games of the 30th Olympiad.
A laser-class boat can be described as a dinghy with a sail, but that would not do the racing vessel justice. That will be the class Trinidad and Tobago's Andrew Lewis will be competing in this coming July at the London 2012 Olympic Games. The 22-year-old has been sailing for most of his life, and we asked him how did it all get started.
I always had a passion and love for sports. So I think at the age of, well, as small as a little boy, my dad always had me around the water. I think since I was born, I could count the hospital, I was around the water, even on big boats and just around the water since I was a little boy. So I grew a strong passion and love for the ocean. So that was one of the main starters of why I started sailing, how I got into sailing.
The Olympic dream was formed early in his career.
I sailed the laser radio, had a really good time in that, and but didn't take it too serious. And a year before 2008, my coach told me that, you know, Andrew, in Beijing it's going to be light when I know you are small, but you really can't try and make it to the Olympics. You know, let's try and work for it. So my dad, my coach and I all worked really hard to try and make this happen, and my mum taking me to competitions and my dad couldn't, and those kind of things. And we really made it close to qualifying in 2008, and I was only 18 years old. And I really worked extremely hard to get there. I didn't get there. So that really kind of upset me.
But Andrew showed the tenacity of a true Olympian and refocused his energies to take a stab at London 2012 and made some big sacrifices along the way.
So I re-strategized after taking a full year off of not really racing. In 2009 I did 1 or 2 competitions. I would normally do 9 a year. And I came back strong, and I tried to do school and I tried to do sailing at the same time. All knowing that the goal was for London 2012. And I worked at it. And a year and a half before the games, my school was really not doing well because I was missing 3 months at a time of school and trying to do school while I was away. And school was not working out. It was taking too much time from my sailing, and my sailing was taking too much time from school. So I decided to stop university, which I was doing in England. I tried to mix the England school while training in England for the games. And then I stopped school, and that actually helped my sailing humongously. My performance went up double, and I started to climb my world ranking. I think at that point in school I was at 636 in the world. I started to climb to 220, then 180. And I just kept going at it.
In May 2012, Andrew qualified for the London 2012 Olympics, and his life changed.
So qualifying from then on, everything changed. I mean, I had a lot more support, and I had a lot more belief. A lot of people didn't believe I could do this, and I worked hard at it, and I'm still working hard at it now. And I think it's about just under 50 days to the first race in London. So I have a lot of work to still do, and I'm home for a week before I start my month-and-a-half training camp in London.
Andrew Lewis begins his quest at the Olympics on July 30th in the men's laser class. Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
When we come back, fulfilling the promise.
The iPhone 4S has an all-new camera with 8 megapixels and advanced optics, so it lets you capture stunning photos. And because it's an iPhone, you can do things you never imagined possible with a camera. So maybe the only camera you need is the one on the most amazing iPhone yet.
In our special feature, Fulfilling the Promise, we highlight the initiatives and achievements of the government over its 3 years in office. At News 4, we've joined in that effort, and each day in our news package, we feature one of those highlights from the long and impressive list of milestones over these 24 months. In this story, we look at lowering the nation's food bill.
Reducing the cost of food for all citizens. It's the goal of a partnership between this country and Brazil, signed by Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar during the recently concluded Summit of the Americas. According to the Prime Minister, it's in keeping with government's goal of lowering the nation's food bill.
This farm will play a crucial role in boosting the production methods of our local farmers. The farm will be located in central Trinidad. It will be located on land donated by the government, and it will serve as a stimulus for the expansion of the agricultural sector. This, I've asked Ministers of Foreign Affairs and Food Production to fast-track the arrangements with Brazil and CARICOM. But today I say, coming out of my meeting with Her Excellency President Rousseff, she has committed and she's willing, and she said she's now learned the word in English, fast-track. So everything we speak of is fast-track, and she loves that word. So I think we will get it done as sisters together.
She added that the partnership will also seek to supply meat at a lower cost for consumers in Trinidad and Tobago.
Because of the way in which the regulations are framed, it excludes the meats coming out of these countries. Well, guess what? Were we to import from there, the prices of our food will drop substantially. It will bring down the price of meat substantially. And therefore, it is something I'll ask again Foreign Affairs and my Minister of Food Production for them to work on seeing how we can revise and reform and modernize the regulations relating to the importation of meats coming out of South America.
Farmers here in TNT are also set to benefit from the agreement, as training will be provided on techniques for growing food for mass production. It is expected that through this joint venture, citizens will benefit from gainful employment in the food production industry, as well as from lower food costs.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. I'm Nicola Barito. Thank you for joining us.